Dr. Hitchens, are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
Not necessarily a change, but there is something exciting happening at the beginning of the meeting. We do have a celebration. So every meeting we start out with a celebrating success. And tonight, for the first time ever, we're going to try a virtual celebration of success, a live streaming of a concert that's going on at BFAC right now. They're going to join us at about 7:10. So even though it's the first thing on the agenda, we need to honor their timeline. They're trying to get the audience seated. And then at about 7:10, we're going to go live at BFAC for a first grade chorus concert. It is Mr. Zimmer's, Walt Zimmer. He's the music teacher at Louis White School. It's his 25th annual winter concert. And so this isn't about him. He said he didn't want it to be about him, even though we're very excited that this is his 25th concert. But we'll be watching the first graders sing you a song after a little bit of dialogue. So that'll be at about 7:10. Technology hopefully will be our friend for that.
I can show you the meeting right now. This is the audience.
So they're there. So it's working so far.
So in the meantime, we're just going to take it piecemeal, and at about 7:08, we're going to stop everything and prepare for Mr. Zimmer's concert. So in the meantime, is anyone here from BESPA tonight? I don't think I saw anyone. Nope. All right, then Amy.
You have no public comments, right?
Oh, I have no sheets.
Okay, no public
No sheets? Okay, then I'd like to invite Amy Biancarri, our BEA president, up to the table. Hi, Amy.
Good evening. Hello.
You gotta fill time, Amy.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I really, mine are short tonight. Yeah, I just have a few things. One, I would like to just reiterate, we were very thankful and supportive of the calendar proposal that's coming before you to vote on tonight, and that we're really happy about the collaborative process. We've been working a lot on the collaborative process with the BEA exec officers and with the senior management team. And in our last month's meeting, we discussed and started a plan for working that collaborative process down to the building level. So I've been working with Joanne Smith at the high school, and we're going to be working with the middle school administration as well. So that's something that we've been actively working on, and working on structures and communication, so that's been a real positive thing, I think. Also, today we met with Steve and Brad and Liz McAlpin to talk about and create a timeline for training the staff on the new student growth part of the appraisal law. So we have a timeline for that, and then we have a plan for how we're going to roll it all out to staff, get staff comfortable before we do our pilot next year. So we're feeling pretty good about that. Other than that, that's really it. So we want to wish you happy holidays and have a wonderful winter break. We're looking forward to it. And yeah. All right. So thank you. Have a good evening.
Always happy to hear about that all collaboration. Very happy. Good news. We don't have any PTO representatives as far as you know tonight, right?
I don't see any.
Then I would like to invite the student ambassadors to share.
Right. So we're going to begin with our focus group. It contained 3 main topics. One was thrown in kind of on the fly. It became such an issue.
Okay.
These would be Chromebooks, Bulldog Hour, and the surprise was the song fundraiser that we started, Stop Bop, which had mixed results depending on how you look at it. Most people were not fans. That was probably a good thing. They ranged from definitely donating because they wanted it to stop, although there were those more sadistic people who donated for it to keep going. We actually made more money for it to keep going rather than stop. So we ended up making about $300 before they gave up, but that's still a pretty good amount of money.
Jake, who was that benefiting real quick?
Oh, ALS.
Okay.
Yeah. Chromebooks, most are fans, so that's good. They allow for more group work was the biggest thing. There's a lot of dividing and conquering going on, which can be both a good and a bad thing. And we got several notes that those with bad handwriting greatly appreciate that.
And then we asked them about Bulldog Hour, and
Some of the feedback we got was a lot of the people don't like the 11:50 freeze. And someone said, I feel like the 11:50 pressures me into restricting my mobility. They said that they get a lot of their homework done during the Bulldog Hour, and they like being able to go talk to their teachers, make up tests, make up quizzes, and just get help if they need it. But most people really like Bulldog Hour.
What is the 11:50 freeze? Sorry.
At 11:50, they make an announcement that says you have to freeze and stay in the classroom that you're in.
So wherever you are, that's
Yeah, you have to stay there until the bell rings for passing period, which like I get it because they don't want people just roaming around the hallways in that time. But that was just one of the major complaints we got.
How much longer than 7 or 11:50 freeze, and then how much time till you?
7 I want to say. I think it's 7 minutes.
Literally, it's. Okay.
I don't know why people have such an issue with it. but high school kids do.
That's really funny. Okay, good to know.
Quite a deal.
We don't like rules.
Okay. We have a few sports successes. Wrestling beat St. Charles East last Friday.
Jake was in the paper?
Yeah, they were the 2-year conference champions, and we finally knocked them off. That's a big victory for us.
And then my teammate Maddie Judon was named to the All-State team for volleyball.
Saw that?
And the math team got 3rd place at our competition, which we haven't done in a long time. So that's good.
The
Okay.
round,
They're ready over at the BFAC.
Oh,
so-
all right. Then
Sorry
we're
to
gonna
interrupt.
ask you to hold.
Collect your thoughts, we'll go back to you.
That's right. No audio?
I think we do have audio.
I hope so. Otherwise-
Oh, there's Dominic.
How are you?
We're good.
Good. Welcome to our very first live stream from the BFAC. We're here with a very excited audience right now. And, oh yeah,
You can see us in the corner, that's what they're
and
saying.
more importantly, we're here with a very excited group of students. Okay. I'm showing you, you're being seen, buddy. Right here, we have the Louise White first grade under the direction of Mr. Walt Zimmer, and they will be singing for us today the first snowball of the season.
Did Dominic hit the mute?
No, I don't understand when I could go off the music.
I like the game.
Yeah.
So how's that?
That was amazing. Those can't be first graders.
You can look at Sue.
They are first graders, yes.
They were amazing. We are so impressed. Thank you so much. This is why we all do what we do. Because of those kids up on that stage. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. We were talking before the beginning of the concert songs about how we're celebrating music in Batavia. And maybe you saw how the high school was nominated to the Grammy organization as one of the top 200 schools of music. And that's a celebration. Hey, kid. All right. So I'd just like to let you know that even though the high school was nominated, it all starts right there.
And you know what? It is so true that it starts right there because, Mr. Zimmer, I heard a rumor today that Dominic Cotero was one of your students when he was in elementary school.
Yes, the District 25 school, my grade classes that I had, Mr. Cotero was one of my students.
So it really does start right there. And then the work that you do just keeps touching lives over and over again. So thank you, Mr. Zimmer.
Well, thank you. It's been my pleasure. It's a wonderful place to be. I can't think of a better place that I would want to stay than here in Batavia.
Well, good. We don't want you going anywhere. So thank you so much.
That's awesome.
That was awesome.
Are they gone?
We are now.
We are now. Bye.
Do you guys remember when you were first graders?
Oh, my God.
I do.
There you go.
I remember my kindergarten.
I do not remember. That's okay. All right, that's
did you
hard
guys
to
prepare
follow
some
up
songs?
on, but
All right, you're up next.
All right, we just want to finish with a little bit more accrediting to the arts here. In the Upstate Art Show, we had several placers and a couple first placers. We have Amanda Rice, who took third place in digital photography. We have Caroline Strand, who crafted a very complicated looking dress and took first place in sculpture. We had Kayla Stopa take second place in darkroom photography. And Caroline Strand also doubled up, taking second place in ceramics. Wow. So very talented there. And as you heard, the high school was nominated as one of the top 200 schools for the Grammy Award, which is very, very cool. Very nice honor. And that's the arts. So
I love it. So let's see, we had successes in academics, we had successes in sports, we had successes in the arts.
good month.
Couldn't ask for more. Thank you.
All rounded. Very
What a
good.
great way to start the night. All right, so now we will be moving on to our consent agenda. The consent agenda is a method of streamlining our meetings by taking one vote on a number of routine personnel and business items. Each of the items is detailed in the agenda and has been appropriately posted in the board packet. Are there any items on the consent agenda for removal or for clarification?
I have one. Christina Claghorn, in the personnel report, Christina Claghorn should be listed as an increasing contract for an ELL position at HCS and JVN.
And she was not included? at
She's
all,
in
so
there,
she-
but she's listed at the wrong school.
Gotcha, okay.
HCS, Storm, and JVN.
All right, thank you then, Mr. Pierce, would you please read the consent agenda.
Absolutely. 5.1 through 5.6 is the approval of minutes from November 18th, December 2nd, and December 9th, 10th, and 11th. 5.7 is the personnel report, and I would like to highlight, we have a special guest here tonight. The new principal at Rotolo Middle School is Brian Zwemke, and he's standing back here. We can...
Now we see it.
We're very excited about having him, and I don't know, are there a few words you'd like to say?
Sure. With me tonight is my wife, Lisa. We're very excited. I'm very excited to join the Rotolo staff and appreciate everybody's kind words as getting entered into a great school district. So thank you very much.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Of course, and that is pending board approval, of course. Next, we have 5.8, which is the routine financials. We have the bill sign and the bill list. 5.9 are our monthly treasurer's reports. 5.10 are the donations. We have 3 this month. We have $134.61 donated to Rotolo Middle School's PBIS program from Wells Fargo. We also have a Wurlitzer piano worth $900 donated to Batavia High School from the Stepanek family. And then lastly, we have $300 donated to Louise White School from the BPS Fabric of America Fund. So we're thankful for those. We had, I believe, 3 FOIA requests this past month. At 5.11, 5.12, we have the approval of the HR imaging contracts for photography at RMS and VHS. 5.13 is disposal of surplus district property, and there's a great photo if you looked in there. Moment of silence for 10 overhead projectors and 4 black carts. They are going to auction before they are disposed of, I wanted to note. And 5.14 is the collaborated upon with the BEA school calendar of for 2015-16.
Excellent. Does anybody have any questions on the consent agenda tonight?
I have a question. Before we publish this calendar, assuming it gets approved, are we going to clarify which day is the first day of school for the high school and which day is the first day of school? Because the way it's currently on here, it's not clear.
Is there a whole communication plan moving forward if it's approved?
Yeah, after the holiday here, we would put together a communication plan to make
So
sure.
this isn't, what's in our board book is not what's going to be published?
No, that's just, we need to know if this is something that we can move forward with. So a communication plan, looking for supports for families on some of those additional half days. And then, talking to the board policy committee especially about how do we evaluate this calendar and its success as we go throughout next school year. Those are our 3 next steps.
Because I would want to get it out there as soon as possible, but not in this form.
Right.
I think it's a good compromise in a way that we've discussed with the grade school and the high school. It's basically a pilot year to see how this works and to get feedback, especially the half days, and to see how those weeks are combined a little bit that we talked about. But I think, as Melanie said, I think the communication is very important so everybody understands. And I think also the understanding of the snow days, if that ever happens, I think that always has to be expressed, because sometimes people don't realize there's that 5 days just in case. They should just add that on, and that could alternate. But I think it's a good starting point, and I'm hoping we get feedback to see if this is something that we can move forward and it helps both levels out. So
Yeah, I don't want to think that I don't agree with the calendar. I just don't agree with this.
Right, you just want to make sure it's clarified. Since
Yeah,
because they're different.
I mean, it says the first day of school and there's 2 days circled in the same week and it doesn't clarify who goes which day.
And with that, some of the key elements of why we chose to do this, it is unique, and I think it's a great idea of how you collaboratively came about this and thought outside the box. And our high school block system is a unique system that kind of has a major factor in here, and the emphasis we had years ago of getting their finals before Christmas, which you probably really do. We have gotten great response from, right?
I love it.
Yeah. So you got finals coming up. So
I actually read an article the other day in the Daily Herald because as one of the schools up in the Schaumburg
Schaumburg.
area is switching. They said 73% of the suburban schools are going to a collegiate calendar, or have already gone to a collegiate calendar, so this shouldn't be controversial anymore.
Right.
So I'm just saying that'd be all part of the plan, that'd be great, yeah.
Anything else?
The only thing other than was the imaging, and it's just, I caught it, and I don't know if it's probably been corrected. What we got on the contract, I saw a signature for the middle school, but I didn't see a signature for the high school. I don't know, it's just a minor thing when we got the thing down at the bottom. So I didn't see a signature from the administration at the bottom.
sign that before we approve it?
But I saw
The middle school
it.
shouldn't have signed it yet.
Okay,
and
I was just
that already
wondering-
did, so we
Thank
were still
you.
bringing
We
it to
appreciate
approval.
that.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what was going on. Okay, okay.
He was just checking things off.
All right.
I'll talk with Josh.
Okay.
Sometimes that happens.
Other than that, that's all I had.
Okay, any other questions, clarifications? Then I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Impastato, second by Stoops. Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Blakely?
Yes.
Gaspar?
Yes.
Impastato?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Yes.
Hodge?
Yes.
Dremmel?
Yes. Right, we get to skip a whole entire section of the agenda tonight. We have no discussion or information items. Yay! So we're going to move on to action items. First, we're going to have the policy committee report from Dr. Hitchens.
Right, we'll make up for the lack of discussion items in this one policy committee report. We had a very lengthy policy committee meeting. So we get press recommendations from our press, which is our policy subscription service, and they were, the October ones just came out in time for us to discuss recently. And so we processed those at the last meeting. We didn't even finish going through them. It was a very lengthy meeting. So what you see on the policy committee report, there's 4 different things. The first would be 2 policies that you've already seen that were brought to you for a first reading. This is the second reading, and no changes have been made since the last time you saw them. So the policy committee is recommending that you approve those 2 policies. The next group of 6 policies, that would be items that we're presenting that we are also asking that you adopt. Even though you haven't seen them before, they are straight from press for the most part, but they make us compliant with new legislation. So we wanted to get those done as soon as possible. We don't really have options. And when the legislation changes, then we need to be very quick with our policy to make sure that we're compliant. So we would like to recommend that you approve those policies related to communications to and from the school board. That one was interesting. We're already compliant with the law before it even becomes a law. It becomes a law on January 1st. And that would be that if we host a website, which we do, that we need to have a place where people can click to contact the board. We are so advanced. But there's some other minor changes as well. Insufficient fund checks and debt recovery is the next one. Food services, equal opportunity and minority recruitment, family and medical leave, and substitute teachers. Those are all revisions to policies. Then the third category on this policy report is policies that we did want to get your feedback before you actually vote on that. So there's 2 policies there that we are asking for your feedback. One of them would be exemption from physical activity. So we have that policy exists already. And it's the way that the parents, the steps that they need to take to get their students exempt from maybe a PE class for the day if the student is sick. But we also need that to apply to recess time as well because of parents wishing to get their students exempt from that activity. We wanted to make sure that the same process applied to both recess and to PE. And then the advertising and distributing materials in schools provided by non-school related entities, that this is a first reading. And we've been talking about it at the policy level for a while. A couple board members asked that we put that on the policy agenda. So the business office has gone through, made some suggestions, and they would like your feedback on that. That was the third category. So I'm going to pause there because the fourth category is a little bit different. So questions on the first 3?
Questions?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't at this meeting. So under 4.45, the insufficient funds, is that retroactive, or are you going to go back on that?
You mean to collect the debt
Yeah.
in previous years?
Well, I mean, from the time this policy is adopted, will it be for anything that's currently pending or anything that happens from the policy date forward?
To clarify, this policy, what it does is it adds the section on the local debt recovery program to the Office of the Comptroller. We don't currently use that.
Yeah,
It's
that's why I
currently-
was wondering if it's for anything that occurs from the date we adopt a policy or anything that's already occurred.
Well, we still actually go after unpaid fees. We used to use a collection agency, but we stopped using them because we didn't find them to be very effective. But we still send reminders, mostly through the school office, and then if they're unsuccessful, the district office will also make an attempt to collect unpaid fees. So even if you adopt this policy now, we're still tracking unpaid fees and debt to the school district. We expect that the local debt recovery program may become available in the spring. I believe it was the spring, Lindsay, I'm going to look, yeah. And so we wanted the policy in place so that when it becomes active again, we can actually start the process of signing up through them. But this doesn't change what we currently do and how we track down unpaid lunch balances, unpaid registration fees, and the like.
So it's an extra tool that
Yes.
you'll use to do what you've already been doing. So
Exactly,
obviously,
yeah.
retroactive.
It supplements our debt recovery efforts.
And then the substitute teacher, I guess I didn't really understand how that was changing under this policy.
It's a modification of the language. It's not a huge change.
Yeah, that's all it seemed like it was doing.
But a lot of times what we see when we get from press is a little some simple change in language. So it's not a huge change, and it's really a practice we've been following.
Okay.
We're ahead of the law. Any other questions on these first three sections that were presented?
Yeah, I got one more, sorry.
Yeah.
Under 7.260, how come there's no exemption language for the five, what does Sophia have? What kind of plan does Sophia have? 504. It doesn't have any kind of exemption if you have a 504 plan.
Those exemptions, those are federal laws, so a student with an IEP, that would exempt them from physical activity or a 504. Those trump any
Any of these, that would
local
trump that, yeah.
policies, so those students may be exempted through a 504 or an IEP plan.
Okay. So it wasn't necessary to have that kind of language? Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
The fourth item on the policy report is a discussion item. We have 3 board seats that will be open in April, and so last time we had a board election, part of the orientation process involved, one piece of it was me sitting down with the new board members and going through an agenda and an orientation and a training on some of our operations here in the district. And so I put that down as a draft so that when we, after the April election, when we have at least one new board member, since Greg's not running, that we would have an orientation process with them. But I would like your feedback. Is there something on this agenda that we didn't include or ideas that you have? I know at the policy committee meeting, someone suggested matching up the new board member with a mentor, so that is a great suggestion, so I think I put that on the agenda. Any other feedback about the orientation process?
There's a DCFS thing that's not on here.
Good one. Yep, the DCFS mandated reporter training. Nope. Good catch.
That's good.
And anything else, feedback, especially for our more recent board members, what you found particularly useful or helpful would be.
Is the parent training on here?
Yeah,
because that's going to become mandated training was on there.
Yeah, but we missed the.
There was we get that governance pamphlet, I think, in just everything we go to, like from the
That shows up in
ISB.
there.
But I think that's a pretty good overview of expected and required of a board member. I think it'd be even good just to send that out to any prospective board members that are running, just as a mailer, just for them to get an idea of really what
Their role is.
their role is, yeah. I mean, it
And if I'm correct, you're actually preempting that by reaching out to everyone that we'll know publicly by next Monday who's running, right?
That's right. So by next Monday, we'll have all the people that have filed their petitions, and we will be, on behalf of senior management, I will be sending everyone an invitation to come to a workshop in either late, right now I have it scheduled for February, but I'm going to try to see if there's a January date available, but I have something on the calendar for February to invite them all in and cover things like the governance pamphlet that you're talking about. And I know you guys were interested in sharing that book that you read with any potential new board members. And we'll just go through, we want to make sure that they know that there's a place that they can come and ask questions. We know that they're going to be making quite a few appearances over the next several months. And if they had questions about the district, we want them to know that they can reach out and how they can contact us. So the 5 senior managers will meet with the candidates. We'll invite them soon.
if you don't mind, I would also like to offer up my opportunity to, if anyone wants to get a hold of me and, get together for a cup of coffee or whatever, I'll be happy to sit down and talk with them about my perspective on it and, what I think, and maybe being a member that's I don't want to use a retirement word, but leaving, and maybe that they would be less inhibited or something, but I mean, I'll gladly offer that up, so anybody can contact me.
Yeah, I think there's lots of resources. We're really open to inviting people in. I think Greg is a great resource because you might get a more unbiased feedback from Greg just because he won't be participating any longer. But I think all of our board members have said they would be more than willing to meet with anyone who has questions and sit down and explain the process and sort of what it's like to be on this side of the table. So we're a very all-embracing group. Appreciate that. All right. So any other questions on our policy discussion? If not, then our recommended action, I would entertain a motion to adopt the following policies. 2-230, public participation in school board meetings. 8-20, community use of facilities. 2-140, communications to and from the school board. 4-45, insufficient fund checks and debt recovery. 4-120, food service. 5-10, equal opportunity and minority recruitment. 5-185, family and medical leave. And 5-220, substitute teachers.
So
Moved by Locke, second by Gasper. Would you call the roll?
Blakely?
Yes.
Gaspar?
yes.
Impastato?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Stutes?
Yes.
Hodge?
Yes.
Dremel?
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you, Kathy. Next, we're going to move on to new course approvals for the 2015-2016 school year. Dr. Newkirk.
Sure. I'm going to talk a little bit about the process that was used to arrive at the new course proposals that you see before you in the board item. I'll talk about really how an idea becomes a course and some of the things that drove teachers and teacher teams to develop and propose these courses. I'm going to highlight one of the courses in particular, the incubator course, to talk a little bit about that because it's a little bit different. And then there are 2 resolutions based on a policy committee recommendation. One resolution approving those courses, which would be a reallocation of budget funds, and then the other being, I know we're very early in the budgeting process, but one looking at additional funds that would be needed to run some of those courses. So in terms of the process that was used, we honestly didn't really have a process before, so people have pitched ideas, and I don't really know the journey they went on to become a course. But the Curriculum and Assessment Advisory Council last year developed a process to help kind of guide some of this work. And they developed a rather lengthy form that teachers would go through and teacher teams would go through to propose new courses. And I think I naively thought, oh, we get a couple to consider this year. And in fact, we received 28 different requests for courses to our Curriculum Assessment Advisory Council. So we had a rather lengthy meeting where we reviewed the proposals that were put together as a group by the Curriculum Assessment Advisory Council. Before that, though, the courses did have to go through each building level leadership team to make sure it met the building's needs, that they were able to support this course. You know, whenever a new course is introduced, there are ripple effects to the schedule and other things like that. So the teacher or teams proposed courses, they went through that building level leadership team, and then on to the Curriculum Assessment Advisory Council. We are proposing several courses for you to consider, and we do this early in the school year because our students will start registering right after break for their courses. So we want to make sure that if we're able to offer these courses to students to see what interest is out there, that we do it now so that students can have that in their course catalog and their registration guide. The Curriculum Assessment Advisory Council did go through discussion about each one of these courses. There's information that's contained in the proposals that was considered, and you see before you the courses that are recommended by the Curriculum Assessment Advisory Council. We're coming to you today to ask to be able to offer and run these courses, but there are other steps along the way that we'll be coming back to you with. Our courses are based on student interest, so really once we get them in the registration guide and do registration, which we do through PowerSchool and selecting courses, we would know if there's enough student interest to run these courses. So we may have this great idea, and many of our teacher teams have reached out to students, done student surveys to see which courses would be popular. They're not just blindly asking for these courses, but it would all be based on student interest. So the teachers may say, we really need, an example was Intro to Guitar, which is not one that you'll see before you, but one that the Curriculum Assessment Advisory Council considered. And guitar was something that the music department really saw as a need, and students were asking for more basic instruction with guitar. And hopefully that one will come back next year because it was something that we really liked, but there were some things that we couldn't overcome in the proposal right now. So we'll gauge student interest in January and February, and then if we're going to run those courses, we would bring back the curriculum for each of those courses for board approval. Many of the courses that you see before you have pre-developed curriculum, either from the College Board through AP or from Project Lead the Way, which is a number of the courses there. So those curriculums are not developed locally, but are developed externally. Kind of thinking about the different courses that we reviewed at the Curriculum Assessment Advisory Council level, there were many ideas that became proposed courses. There were courses that were proposed to meet changing standards. An example that you see before you is the sophomore PE. So we are in a process of switching over to the enhanced PE standards that were adopted by the state, and those standards really developed a lot of curriculum that couldn't be covered just in the freshman year PE curriculum. So they're proposing this additional time to teach that base curriculum in PE. There were ideas about better serving students, and examples that you will see in the course offerings that they're proposing for next year would be the junior PE leaders. We currently offer a senior PE leaders course where students are working as leaders within our general PE classes, or they're working with our students with multiple handicaps to deliver a modified PE curriculum to them. This course was really to better serve all of our students and to develop leadership capacities of our students so that they could work with our students with special needs and then also be role models for our underclassmen. So that's an example. Simpronetta is another example of better serving students, and this would be for students who need extra work to reach their orchestra potential and making the Philharmonic and some of the other top orchestras. So this is, so I wouldn't say it's a remedial orchestra at all, but it's a way to help students grow to their potential in that strand. Some ideas are part of a larger plan, so there are many courses here that are part of a larger plan of expanding opportunities for kids. Examples would be the addition of AP Human Geography, which would be the 16th addition to the AP courses. I know Joanne Smith talked to you a little bit last month about the success of us growing our AP program and also growing the number of top scorers that our district receives. And then there's quite a large expansion of our Project Lead the Way and Gateway to Technology courses that you'll see before you. So at the middle school level, there are Gateway to Technology courses. We currently offer Automation and Robotics and Design and Modeling. This would add 3 additional Gateway to Technology courses: Magic of Electrons, Energy and the Environment, and Medical Detectives, which all seem like super cool courses. At the high school level, we currently have 3 Project Lead the Way classes, which is part of our initial investment in Project Lead the Way. You have to have a 3-course sequence. So we have Principles of Engineering Design, Introduction to Engineering, and a Civil Engineering class. This would be kind of in a different vein. You don't have to take these classes, but we really see a need to develop students' abilities in computer science. So this would be a computer science and programming class by Project Lead the Way. The Gateway to Technology courses are kind of the middle school version of that. And then there are some courses on here which are really innovative courses that are designed to increase student learning, and that's really where we're taking a look at the business class. And I just want to highlight the process that the business department went through in taking a look at not only the classes that you see before you in the VEI and the incubator class, but really looking at their whole program. So at the high school, we're well aware of data that shows in post-secondary, 40% of all post-secondary, so a BA or a BS, degrees are conferred in business. 40%, that's a huge number, way more than education or any other field. Yet in our high school, we were seeing about 10% of our students take even our base Introduction to Business course. And they really felt this is something that our students are doing once they leave the world of high school, but we're not really preparing them for that world. So they really started to look around at what's going on in business education and really gravitated towards 2 offerings that are part of a larger scope to re-energize the business department at the high school. The VEI course is something that St. Charles has had great success. This is a virtual business enterprise that students would be engaged in. They're taking different roles, and they are really learning by doing. So students are placed into management positions, marketing positions, advertising positions to really market their virtual product. It is an interactive where they can see gains and losses and adjust to those things as a team. And the other is the Entrepreneur Incubator. This comes from Barrington. Barrington High School really had a lot of success with their incubator project. It culminates in a Shark Tank-like business pitch that students do, and at Barrington High School, they had 5 teams that made it to the pitch, and all 5 teams were funded not only by their foundation, but outside investors as well. So in Barrington, there are 5 teams of students who each have venture capital to start their own business, and they haven't even left high school yet. And it really, the philosophy behind this is really to integrate the business community into the schools. The business community serves as coaches and mentors for the kids as they go along this process of coming up with an idea, doing a lean startup model, and then eventually developing potential businesses for students. There was lots of great excitement. We can share some of the stories that we learned, but I had the opportunity to visit with Dr. Hitchens and the foundation and Kathy Dremel as well, and we were super excited about the learning that was going on. When kids could tell you about the process that they were going through and the experiences that they had, it was pretty amazing. We also had our teachers visit for a more extended opportunity where they were seeing kind of from the teacher end what this would look like and what's involved. The foundation is interested in making this a partnership, an area for partnership, and we've also explored potential partnerships with the Chamber of Commerce as well as other community service organizations. So this would be a great way to integrate community and schools through this project. So that's one example of really innovating for increased student learning, particularly in this area. There are the two parts of the resolutions. We tried to craft out as much of the upfront startup costs that would be needed for some of these courses. Other things, we reallocated funds or had already had those pieces developed, so there would not be funds for those. So if you don't see anything, it says no anticipated startup costs. We also can see anticipated student fees. Again, those are right now tentative. They would need to be further developed. But the first set of classes that you see there, there's no additional startup funds for. And then we did try and estimate startup funds. These were for a variety of things: purchasing curriculum, professional development, which was mostly a reallocation of existing C&I budgets, textbooks and other materials that might be needed for startup. So the total investment that we would be asking the board is about $65,000 to $70,000 in additional funds that we would need to launch these classes.
What about the teachers? Teachers to teach these courses? Do we have teachers ready for next year to teach?
All of these proposals came from teacher and teacher teams.
So there's no adding staffing?
There is one for, I'm sorry, thank you.
0.17.
No, I didn't understand it very well either.
In adding 3 elective or exploratory classes at the middle school level, we would anticipate that this would result in an additional 1.17 of a teacher to run those 3. 0.17. 0.17.
Okay. But like for the high school, like the business department, the teachers that are there can take this advanced health. I know we have new staff there. They can handle these courses and.
Are we dropping classes? Are we dropping classes?
The PE.
Yes, some. So an example would be cultural studies honors would be replaced with AP Human Geography.
Is any of the cultural studies going into that human geography part?
There is some overlap between those two courses.
I'm excited to hear also about the expansion of the business department. I think business major. But, with that and the immersion of potential for working with the various groups in the community, could there also not be, like you said, use the word internships or working cooperative efforts or something like that, and in turn potential scholarships, things of that nature, so there could be some economic enhancement down the road that might work a job, I mean, but I mean, there's unlimited opportunities you have to add on to,
Yeah.
It's just not the now.
Right.
It's the future, so.
Right, our students are looking to connect outside of the classroom, and some of these are great examples, like the business partnerships. They're willing to come in and mentor our students, and this is a good opportunity for the students to make those connections.
Great resource.
The student from Barrington that did the bus app was on WGN News this morning.
Oh, was it?
Oh,
Yeah.
no way.
Fun.
I love it.
So I think
Pre-marketing, right?
Yeah. I think this is a great way to get the partnership with the community.
I sit on the counseling, our high school counseling department, as we know, has gone through changes this year, and I sit on that committee, and they just talked about how much the prep for college is changing, and how it's starting as freshmen. So to give the kids in high school the opportunity to be able to see what we all know that they may not know what they want to do as freshmen or sophomores or whatever, but this will help them, I think, and that's, kind of goes aligning with our new counseling department and what they're doing with the kids. So I think that's kind of neat.
I think these type of classes are the type of classes that prepare them for college too. These are the type that are going to teach them how to think analytically and think outside the box that they need to think. And as somebody that runs a company and has to hire these people when they come out, these are the kind of classes I want to see that they have taken and that they're going to be ready when I put them in a cubicle and I need them to work independently. These are the kind of classes that I want them to have taken, because then I don't have to stand over them, teach them how to do that.
Yeah.
I have just a couple things, and I might rehash some of this from policy, but I want to thank CAC and everybody that's involved with CAC for all the hard work they put into, because I know it takes a lot of time and collaboration to work on something like this. And I was very surprised on the number of courses that were coming towards us. My one concern, and still is, that I've been struggling with since policy meeting is the cost on some of the new ones. And it kind of has a twofold to it on how I look at it, so I'm going to try to summarize this. Is that, I've always been saying for myself of not adding any new programs to put the budget, the way we've been handling things and so on, and then trying to stay the course on everything. And if I'm understanding right, there's going to be two parts of this. That one part is going to be of funds that are going to stay within, so it's not an added cost to the board. But then there's going to be another part of this that then would be an added cost to the board, and we're going to vote on two different things, okay.
You can do two different resolutions, yeah.
Okay. But I think what I was also struggling with, and something you had said at policy, Brad, was about the business program. And I know you explained a little bit more, which I was surprised that a lot of the students, you said, go to universities, colleges to go into the business program, and some of the classes are not taken because they're not fun, they're boring or whatever. And you're going the innovative way of bringing in this new incubator and the virtual
Sorry
enterprise. The internship preneur and the Visual Enterprise International, which I think is good, but where I look at it as, if we are having an issue with the business area, that it might not be at a standard that we need to because our students aren't taking it, maybe we need to really look at the whole thing. Instead of adding the two new classes to put, the cart before the horse type thing, but look at everything, get it from the colleges and universities. And as our business, as Greg, as I have one of my notes, is we would like to get the internships back into our area here if they go off, which I think is a great thing. But maybe instead of just adding these, is to look at it to see those other classes, to maybe not have quantity, the number of classes, but the quality of the classes that is going to be beneficial to that end. And that has struck me since that policy meeting that you said, that's where I'm really having a hard time with the new funds on just adding something if some of these other courses are not being taken for whatever reason, but yet we have a lot of our students that are going off to the universities to do business. To me, it makes no sense. And I'd rather have them take those classes and so on, so it helps them advance and be better prepared. So I don't know if you can give me a little insight on that part of, that was discussed.
I can tell you what I know, and this is part of a larger plan for the business department. They actually had 2 or 3 additional courses that they proposed that we did not move to this round. And Brian, I'm going to turn to Brian a little bit, since he works with our business teachers, to talk a little bit about, answering your question and where the business department is headed and why now.
It's a combination of things, but and I was having this conversation with one of the business teachers this week, there's a combination of the theory of learning management practices, learning investment, learning budgeting and accounting, and then there's also the doing. And these courses are a high quality meld of, you're going to learn the theory by actually doing them. And the experiences that the students walk away with offer a greater, richer outcome than simply the theory-based part. So while we are asking for the new courses, the teachers are also looking at how do we envelop more of that action piece and the more hands-on pieces into our existing classes at a pace we can manage as well. I'm very convinced of it, having gone just this last week to the other week to the Project Lead the Way State Convention, and one of the VPs of Abbott Labs was there talking about the partnerships that they've developed with colleges, and then more so the high school students, and these experiences like the BEI or the incubator offer, that they have these college freshmen coming into campus is far more advanced and outpacing their other freshman counterparts that never had those experiences, and sometimes even upperclassmen where they've only had the theory part, the knowledge part, and they haven't had the hands-on pieces. And they say just the power and the enthusiasm and the motivation and the forward momentum that those students have, and the poise they bring to those meetings and presentations is just vastly different than the students that haven't had those experiences. So we're kind of looking to do multiple things. Some of the pieces in terms of modifying some of the existing business courses we're starting to work on as well. We've really been reinventing a lot of our consumer education course as well as we've gone on this year with some of the new staff we've had. We've had some retirements and other shifts, so that's a little bit more behind the scenes that you maybe wouldn't have always seen, because they're pieces we wouldn't necessarily have to bring to the board.
And I would like to actually interject, because I was a business major and I have a feeling Greg is probably going to go down the same path or similar one as I am. What I really find compelling about these courses, as somebody who has not only an undergraduate but also an MBA, is the melding of all of the disciplines. So in all of these classes, you are not just learning one thing. So it's combining the full overview and then the practical application of all of those things that you are learning. Because that is constantly the complaint. Now, granted, I graduated from college a really long time ago, but that was the constant complaint, was people understood in theory, but they didn't understand what to do with it. And so I feel like this actually helps us revamp our entire business department. Absolutely. And part of why I'm so excited is because one of the business teachers was talking to me about his vision and how excited he was for the entire department. So that really sold me on, they know what they want to do, and it's not just about like, let's just add this one class or whatever. They're saying, this is how kids learn, and this is how kids want to learn, and we want to do it. And so to me, I had the advantage of sitting in as a member of the foundation when we got to go up to Barrington. So I got to wear that hat. I got to talk to one of the business teachers, and I got to wear that hat. So just from my experience, both in my background, my educational background, and my experience as a board member, I think these are incredible opportunities for our students.
Absolutely. I think it's an opportunity to jumpstart the whole department. And the big thing, key thing that jumps out here is taking outside sources and bringing them in.
Yeah.
The ever-evolving business world that prides itself on ever-changing, because it has to be a step ahead of everybody. That's hard to do, to keep a curriculum up there. But if you can bring an outside source in and bring a practical application in like that and have them show something that, how fast something might move or how current something, has to be, that's something, it's priceless. I mean, so the curriculum could be evolving constantly. I mean, so I think it's a great opportunity. It's a great resource.
When Greg said it offers unlimited opportunities, I think that is actually the key for this set of business courses. There are unlimited opportunities for our students.
Oh yeah, like you said, the theory's there and the theory's there, but how do we apply that? Well, that application changes every day. It could, and depending on what type of business you're in too. So that's pretty cool.
Can you just clarify for me what we're approving, like how much money we're approving? I mean, I understand the courses that you're asking us to approve, but how much money are you asking us to approve?
If you total up everything in the numbers, it would be $71,000.
And so we're looking to approve $71,000, but then you said something about you're going to go ask the foundation for some money to offset that? Or no?
Because the $20,000 is a one-time kind of buy-in to the curriculum. So you're buying this full set of curriculum that Barrington developed. I didn't feel I could ask the foundation to buy curriculum. Since they're there to enhance the curricular programs, I didn't feel right in asking them to. They were willing to do whatever it took to make this an opportunity for kids. We're asking the foundation to really partner with us in a couple of areas. One is kind of coordinating some of the outside business people and attracting some outside business people to do this, because it's a commitment on their part. They're actually in the class teaching with our teacher about whatever their expertise is. So a marketing person is teaching with our teacher, and that takes a lot of coordination. So that's hard for a teacher. So we're going to work with the foundation and the chamber on some of those pieces. There's also a point that they get to when they've developed their idea, based on the book Lean Startup, which is what all the business schools are using, that they are going to do the least expensive prototype that they can. And that takes some money. So the example in Barrington, I think they had $12,000 that they outlaid to do these prototypes. They did make about half of their money back because kids were successful in those businesses, but that's something that is a great partnership because we're extending learning opportunities using the foundation. And then the foundation might also be interested in actually funding some of the student businesses at the end. But in terms of the cost of startup, that was not something I felt comfortable asking the foundation to try and partner with us. So the $20,000 is for curriculum to start the class.
And would you be coming back to us and asking us for more money if this, at any time, or is this?
These were generally all one-time costs, right, Brad? Okay. And just full information, at our last meeting, the foundation resolved to support the district in these areas that Brad just said. So it's not just that the foundation has said, yeah, we're interested. They said, obviously, until we approved it, they couldn't actually make it. So there was a resolution to partner with the district, providing the viable product and some potential funding and some partnering with the chamber and other business partners.
So we have a lot of things in fire. The foundation's kind of waiting. The chamber's kind of waiting. We also have some local businesses to kind of redesign some of our learning space, who's waiting for us to move forward potentially and offer the course.
Does the 71,000, that's including that?
So we're not looking to get reimbursed at all?
Not for the 71,000.
I made an estimate based on a teacher salary, but.
And then here on the Project Lead the Way to Last, depending on the need for the VEX kits,
yes.
Is that included in that 71,000?
Yes.
So that's included in that.
And none of this is in our budget right now.
Chris can talk about how this fits into the larger budget process.
Can I ask a question before we go to money? Prerequisites, are these all prerequisite courses? Like the kids have to complete something before they get an A or B to get into these courses?
There's not a whole lot of the prerequisites, I think.
I mean, like advanced health, would you have to health? But okay, so for example, the virtual, the business courses here, would they have had to have completed the business intro to business course?
To do Virtual Enterprise International, that you just need one business class. It could be any one of the business courses, if I remember correctly. To do the incubator startup, they recommend the intro to business as a foundation, but there's actually no prerequisite other than that, other than being an upperclassman. And that was basically modeled off Barrington's feedback that kids from both experienced and inexperienced in the business courses could be successful in that lean startup class.
Okay. Curious.
On the Project Lead the Way, these three are going to add to the two that are already there. It's not getting rid of any of the other electives or anything else that is still there.
This would be in addition.
Explore, right? Okay. Is there? To me, I'm coming back to the budget issue. So, is there any way to do this in a phase? Doing some maybe this year at a lower amount, and maybe
just the natural way that these products will be purchased, we'll probably split this over 2 fiscal years regardless. Some of the costs will have to be incurred this year, so you would actually be authorizing us to exceed what you've budgeted in the curriculum and instruction area for curricular, resources this year. We did have a surplus of $990,000 when we adopted the budget, so there is room there to incur these extra expenses. Other things that we purchased early in the summer, the invoice will not get here or get paid until after July, so this would be worked into next year's budget, the FY16 budget.
But this 71,000, okay, right? That's 11 courses, 1.75 teacher. The curriculum.
1.17.
One class.
What was it?
Zero
It says 0 in the front.
One class in
Okay,
middle school.
that includes the teacher, that includes the curriculum.
How many students?
That includes the material, am I correct? For 11 new courses.
Now, there are other costs that we work to say, both Joanne and Steve have worked at the building level to say, we've made this a priority, so we're going to shift funds and reallocate funds. The C&I division has done the same thing. So Project Lead the Way, teachers go to a 2-week training, costs about $3,500. We've reallocated professional development funds in order to make that happen. So there are additional costs that you're not seeing here, but we've reallocated as much of our budget, our current existing budget, that we feel comfortable doing, and you're seeing here what we're asking you to invest in these courses, the 11 courses.
I'm just
And we will be sitting down in February to be talking about next year. So, I mean, here's the crazy way we get to do this again, is we are trying to make decisions about next year before we've actually sat down and had our workshop in February. So there are some options that we can also talk about in February that would allow us to shift resources if we viewed these as a priority.
Normally, program enhancements would come to you in a package, a larger context of the overall budget. This is here now because the secondary schools need to get their catalogs and registrations going, so they need to know if these courses are available. But otherwise, we bring this to you in the picture of this is how it affects next year's projected budget with staffing, all the other programs combined.
So Brad pulled together as much of that information as is probably humanly possible today. And again, this will be part of a larger conversation that we have in February. So the question is this something that we value and find worthwhile investing in for opportunities for our students?
Do we need to vote, or?
Well, so we can break it into two resolutions, or we can break it into two.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah. Please do.
The AP, the new AP Human Geography class, you said it's replacing the Honors Cultures class. Would the kids that are still at the high school that previously took the Cultures Honors class, would they be able to take the AP Human Geography test or not?
Yeah, any kid we don't do a matching of course and test at the high school, so they could still take the test anytime they wanted to. I don't know, Joanne, do we have any kids that took the geo?
I don't think we've ever had a student take that test at this point.
Partly could be just because of awareness, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
We looked at eight benchmark districts, our local and then other benchmark districts. Half of those offer this course to their freshmen.
Any other questions? So, for ease of passage, let's talk first about the recommendation for the board to approve the new courses for the 2015-16 school year that will be funded through reallocation of existing budgets. I would entertain a motion to approve those new courses.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Stoops, second by Hodge. Kathy, could you please call the roll?
Blakely.
Yes.
Casler.
Would you like us to come back to?
No, I should have asked a question on, I thought we would have a question. Can you tell me which ones those are? Are those the first four?
Yes.
I want to just make sure I got, so it's the sophomore physical education, the junior PE leaders program, advanced health, and the Symphonania. Or however you say it.
And the VEI as well.
And the which one?
VEI, because they would be sharing a room with the incubator.
So the first five.
First five.
which would then, if we wrote down everything else, that would not end up happening, but at the moment, it's under that. Gotcha. Okay.
So, the first time, okay.
So the ones that don't have any costs
Right, I'm
listed.
just saying, if you do this last, okay, I mean, it's gonna, everything's gonna pass anyway, so.
Yikes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Block?
Yes.
Stoops?
Yes.
Hodge?
Yes.
Dremel?
Yes. All right, so we have approved all of the courses that will be financed through reallocation of funds. Now I would entertain a motion to approve the new courses for the 2015-16 school year that will require the $71,000 startup costs. Any last questions before?
You want
All
to
right,
state
then.
which ones those are?
Yeah, you want me to reconfirm which ones those are? That would be the incubator entrepreneurship, the computer science and software engineering, the medical detectives, the magic of electrons, energy, and the environment. Did I miss any of those?
AP Human
AP
Geography.
Human Geography, yes.
Can I just
Thank
ask
you.
a question before we vote?
Well, we don't even have a
Oh,
motion
or
yet, so you
before
can certainly
motion?
ask.
I'm sorry. At any time, can these courses be taken away because we don't have the enrollment?
Absolutely. We go through that on a yearly basis. We offer these courses, we look at what students want, and then build our master schedules based on that to the greatest extent possible. So there's market forces at play within our high school and middle school.
At any time, could these courses be taken away if we have budget cuts?
Oh, anything can be taken away if we have budget cuts.
These are one-time costs.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that. All right, then I would entertain a motion to approve those classes that require startup costs.
So moved.
Moved by Locke,
Second.
second by Stoops. Kathy, would you call the roll?
Blakely?
Yes.
Gaspar?
No.
Impastato?
Yes.
Block?
Yes.
Stoops?
Yes.
Hodge?
Yes.
Dremel?
Yes. All right, those new classes will be added to the course catalogs as of for the January enrollment. Now we will move on to administrative comments.
First, I'll start with an order of business. We have one contract that is set to either roll over unless we send a letter stopping that contract. So the contract with the Park District with our kindergarten enrichment is set to roll over if we don't notify them by January 1st. So we've been meeting with the Park District on the kindergarten enrichment part of the contract, and those talks have been going well. So we anticipate that we'll be making some revisions to that contract and be bringing that to you in January. If something, as a worst case scenario, if we're not able to get that done by January 1st, I would like to send the letter canceling it so that we at least can have a fresh start and get the contract written the way it needs to be. So I'm looking to hear your feedback about that. So the A game here would be that we finish the negotiations that we're in right now, and the contract comes to me and I look at it, everything looks good, I'll bring it to you in January for approval. And then the other option would be if it's not going quite as well and we need a little bit more time, I'll have to send that letter to buy us some more time.
If you're sending a letter to cancel, is that canceled as of next year's start, or?
Yes.
Okay. So
And
it's
then
not just
based on the-
eliminating
right, yeah, it's based
it,
on school year.
Right.
January
January
1st.
Yeah, I mean, we will get this worked out, it's just, I don't want to be, I don't want this contract to actually just revert back to what it was and
Exactly.
lose that opportunity to put some things in there that we're interested in changing.
Yeah, I'd be in support of that then.
That was my one order of business, and then I know this was a great discussion about curriculum, and I think that we're an innovative district. We've been hearing that a little bit more lately, and some of the things that we're communicating, I think it makes it easy to recruit or to interview people like Brian who accept the job knowing that we are an innovative district, and I know some of these courses really are exciting opportunities for our students, and they've come to us from the teachers and the community both, and the students are asking for it indirectly with the way that they register for classes. When we put a new class out there, or a class that is hands-on components and really innovative, that's the students are registering for those classes. And I met today along those same lines. I went back to the STEM school. I know Kathy and I went, and Brad went earlier, and Nikki from the middle school. And their board of directors is interested in having Batavia students attend that STEM school. So that's something that I'll be also bringing to you in January. We'll talk a little bit more about it, not for a vote in January, but I'll bring you some more details. If you have seen any newspaper articles or been on that website, it's a very exciting opportunity. The legislation is written to allow Batavia students to attend that STEM school, so I'm excited to bring some more details to you in January. One more way that our district could bring opportunities for students that are very innovative and different and meets their needs. So those were some of my comments for the night tonight, and congratulations to the high school on being nominated for their Grammy, as a Grammy semi-finalist again, and that's my comments.
Okay. Start from here, Lonnie.
Good luck to the high schoolers on their finals and finishing their first semester off. And also, I just want to do a quick shout out for the Batavia Dance Team's Kickathon Friday night at 7:30. I will be kicking with Allison Yunker at halftime, so if anybody wants to come out for a good laugh, that should be a good one. And also, it is a fundraiser for the Batavia Interfaith Food Pantry, so anybody coming to the game, I encourage you to bring non-perishable canned goods. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. Today's first day of Hanukkah.
Jason.
Wishing everyone happy holidays, and again, to reiterate some of the stuff that Melanie said, it's awesome to hear about.
You're going to be kicking in the kickathon too?
Oh yeah, yes. I just got my uniform, so congratulations to the high school for the Grammy nomination. That's a really cool thing to see, especially with having such a wonderful arts program and music culture that we have here at Batavia High School and through all of our schools. It was cool seeing Mr. Zimmer's concert as well, and having that kind of interaction and seeing that, so it's excellent. Wanted to welcome Brian as our new principal. I'll have kids being in and continuing to go through school there, so watch out. I'll talk to you later about them. Glad to see that we got a great calendar through all of our collaboration with the teachers as well. Very interested and excited to see how these incubator entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurial type of programs enhancing our business program at the school. I didn't get to bring up, but I graduated from the business school in Iowa, and I would have loved to have had classes like this because I kind of see myself as an entrepreneur as well, and I never really knew what that was until I was almost done with college and realized it is really something I wanted to do. And that's it. Go Bulldogs.
Thanks, Jason.
I just wanted to start by saying I opened the newspaper, the Chronicle, on Saturday, and I was very surprised, pleased to see on the front page there were 5 different headlines. 3 of them were all about Batavia schools, very positive. It was very rewarding and uplifting to see the different articles. One was Grace McWayne doing their food pantry, I think it was, and then Jake was another one, and then the Grammy nomination was the other one. So that was very uplifting. Gratifying. I wanted to thank Dr. Mon for his work on the advertising policy. I met with the music buffs, the boosters, and stage, and worked with that, and he helped me, he put it all together, and so I think we did some good work on that, so got that all put together. I also wanted to thank Brad for his work on this coursework. I think that's great. I agree with Jason here. He and I were saying that we would have loved to have had courses like that when we were in high school, because I think real-world practical experience is so much better than just textbook learning. As a small business owner myself, everything I've learned about business has just been on the fly. I've never had a class in business, and I've just learned it. So to have some experience like that would just be phenomenal. So I think it'll be great. I think the kids will really like it. And I just want to wish everyone a happy holidays. Enjoy your break.
Thanks, Steve. Greg?
Congratulations to Herr Zimmer on his 25 years of, and thank you for being in the district. And you taught my children, I think, over at AGS. I think he was a music teacher there.
Oh, wow.
And so really, that was really cool. Thank you, Tony, or whoever all set that up. Dom. Pass that on to him about setting that up. That was really cool to see the these white first graders singing, and that was neat. And welcome, Brian. Good luck, Steve. I'm sure you guys will work. I know you guys. You guys will be working well together. I'm sure communicating back and forth. So you got big shoes to fill there. But good luck, both of you. And about it. And happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays to everybody. Have a great break, a well-deserved break for everyone. So I wish you all a great holiday. That's all I have.
John?
As always, I want to thank everyone that sent us emails and talked to us and with all their concerns and everything within this last month. Congratulations to the 89 Illinois State Scholars at Batavia High School. I think that's 10 more than from last year, so another improvement. Congratulations on the Batavia High School selection of the 2015 Grammy semifinalists. The dance festival at Hooverwood School was a wonderful treat for all that attended. Just watching all the kids perform is a treat. And I know, Steve, you're not retiring yet, but I wanted to wish Steve a thank you for his years of service, even though you have a few more months to go. But I wanted to welcome Brian to Batavia Schools and to Rotolo Middle School, and we wish you well in your new adventure here. As always, I want to thank my fellow board members, our president, and all the staff here for all the hard work you guys do, answer my questions. We always agree to disagree. And this was a tough decision that I had, and it was mostly on the budget part and not on the course part per se, is that sometimes I look at it that you can always throw a lot of things in something, but I'm trying to look at the quality of it more than the quantity of it, and that's, hopefully the time will come and that I'll understand that, and so that was a hard vote for me there, and I just don't want the work to go unneeded, because I think you guys all worked really well in getting that together. But the way I voted was mostly because of the budget more than anything else, and I just have to stick with that conviction right now, how I'm doing it. So, because of what I said last month with all the tax stuff and everything. And finally, I just would like to wish everyone a safe and relaxed holiday season with family and friends. So Merry Christmas to all, and to all, I'm done.
Thanks, John. Greg, was there something else you wanted to add?
Yeah, one last thing I wanted to plug again, the Hall of Honor, and that we are still taking nominations through February 1st. Okay. So if you think of somebody, don't just expect that everybody put that one in. Go ahead and take multiple nominations for the same person, but please pass that around. There's nomination forms on the website. I know there's a Facebook page, there's Twitter accounts, there's all those things out there, but please pass the word on that. We're excited about that startup. We had a meeting today and things are happening, and I don't know if I'm putting the cart before the horse, but there'll be a celebration next year around homecoming that will the first class will be inducted in, and we're planning a lot of exciting things with that going on. So it's still in the planning stages, but it's more in the cruising stages. We're moving along really well. And again, thanks Sue for all her work she's done on that and promoting a lot of that. But I just want to put that plug back in. I forgot.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Well, there's nothing I can add to what you have all shared. So with that said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Impastato, second by Locke. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.